Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you form placement and my clear base layer. This is continuing on from my first prep video. So here I'm using luminous builder base gel, which I use in place of a acid base or non-acid base primer. So I've prepped all the nails, and you can see that in a previous video, and I will link that somewhere in the description box or up in the video cards for you. So I'm just applying a very thin base layer and really scrubbing it into the nail, as you can see me doing here. I place this on all 10 nails. You want to keep this layer very thin. And obviously not touch the skin. And I'm going to place this into an LED UV lamp and cure for 60 seconds. I'm just going to jump in here and quickly apologize. You'll be able to hear the kids in the background, and hey, that's life. We all have to, do these things when we still have to do life. And towards the end of the video, you will hear my wonderful cat Nala constantly meowing at the door. So I'm not re-recording, so I apologize for that. Sorry guys. Okay guys, so now I am moving into form placement. So I place the little backing piece on the form, give it a bit of a roll in my fingers. These ones you don't really have to do too much of that because they're so rigid and sticky. I close up that front end and pinch off the tip of it before I apply. Apply it straight under the free edge. Tighten it at the free edge of the nail and then pinch from underneath, so you can see that it's super slim and there's no form getting in the way of my application. I continue to do this. You'll see me do it across all 5 nails, I think, in this video. Some people prefer to do the acid-based primer afterwards, just in case you're touching the nails or anything, but I don't seem to have any issues with it. So this is my process and how I've always done it. I try to sculpt with every single client, as it's how I get better. You're not going to get better if you don't practice, guys. So just keep practicing, because form placement is an art in itself and takes time to master. I'm still learning. I'll be learning every day, I'm sure, for the rest of my career. So this nail here, Lily's free edge on the left hand side comes up higher than the right side, which is a bit of a pain. So you kind of just have to just play around with it until you get it right. You don't see me doing it here in the video, but I did actually have to take this one off and reapply it because her nails were so short and bitten that I wasn't able to get it under the free edge. So it was a little bit tricky to get under there, but we worked it out in the end. So here I'm using the MissU Crystal Clear base, and now I'm applying my thin base layer. What is wrong with me today? I cannot say applying. So I just apply a very small wet bead to the free edge of the nail and the form, create that contact, and then I use my brush to pull it and to just pull that product down to my desired length. Lily doesn't like her nails to be too long, so we kept them, I'm not sure what number it is, maybe number 1 on these. So I do this, use my brush to do pretty much most of the work, making sure that the product is coming out directly from that natural free edge on the side, the natural side wall. Then I apply my cuticle bead and just pulled that down over the nail, keeping this layer super thin. I do like to pinch my nails as well. I was using a pinching tool, but I was finding that I'm as I'm still learning, I was finding that I was over pinching the nails, so I tend to just do this while the product's warm. I just use my fingers and just pinch in right at the sidewall, the natural sidewall, where it starts to form down into the extension, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Excuse me. So I do try to keep this layer as thin as possible because of obviously we're going in with design later and we want to keep it nice and thin. It really is an art form in itself, guys, and these forms are great because they give you, because they're so rigid, they actually give you a nice natural pinch anyway. So as long as you keep them pinched from underneath and the forms aren't getting in the way of your sidewall, you should have no issues. Just keep practicing with them, and I promise you, you can see me just using my fingers, the heat from my fingers, just to naturally pinch that free edge of the nail. And I do that as I go along. So I'll do one nail and then go back to the one, because it's usually once it starts going matte and heating up, and you'll feel it. I just use the back of my finger to feel the heat of the product, and if I can feel that heat, then I know it's time to actually do that pinch. So I just move along and do this across all 10 nails. So this is just showing you my process. Everybody's nails are different. Form placement is tricky, especially I find it especially hard with people with very deep C curves, and I'm still learning. Like I said, I'll be learning forever because, you know, I'm always trying to perfect and gain that perfect shape, and I will just keep plodding along and doing what I'm doing. And that's the best advice I can give you guys, is that you just need to practice. You're never going to get better if you don't try. If you're too scared to try, then you're not going to get any better. So there you can see me just pinching in and pulling in that form as well underneath, and making sure that that shape and everything is still there and that they're nice and stuck together, because it will help the product set in that really nice pinched C curve. Another tip I can give you guys is just to try and make sure that you keep this layer even. You want it to be nice and even, so I check it from all angles, and especially directly down the barrel. You can see me as I'm lifting the nail there that I'm checking that it's nice and even across the board, because this will help your nail not snap later on when you're because I will actually go in and file all of these into my desired shape and just perfect it. And right along the natural, where the natural sidewall meets that product, that's going to be your stress point. So always make sure that you've got enough product there, especially when for this figure, when it comes up so high on the left hand side. So I always add an extra little bit of product there to make sure that there's enough so that it doesn't snap and there's no weak points, because that's obviously going to cause the nail to break later on. You can see me doing that here. I'm just adding that little bit of extra product. Just take the time to go across and check them all, make sure that it's, you know, nice and even. And like I said, just keep practicing. You can't really get better. I can't stress this enough, guys, honestly. I also want to add, guys, that I'm really not an expert at this. I have, within my training, we didn't really get a whole heap of, you know, massive training in regards to form placement and how to do it correctly. So I have kind of taught myself along the way. I've watched a lot of videos and done a lot of self-education, and I just practice. When I first started in my salon, I used to use tips all the time because I was so scared to form, because I would find that sometimes, like every time I would do a form set, they would snap. So I knew that I was doing something wrong. So I just kept watching videos and practicing, and like I said, I'm not an expert. This is just my way of doing things. And if you guys have any tips or tricks or anything that you think might be able to help me in getting better, then please go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know, because this is what it's all about, is sharing education and helping each other get better, because we need more of that within our industry. So please feel free to give me that little bit of constructive criticism to help me get better. And again, you can see with Lily's thumbs, her natural free edge comes up very high on both sides. So again, I am placing that little bit of extra product, and I find that in doing this, I have had less breakage. I pretty much form every single client now, unless for some reason, like with nail biters and things like that, I actually really struggle with forms and nail biters, so I tend to actually tip them. But yeah, just like I said, I'm not an expert, so this is just my way of doing things, and I hope that it can help you guys in getting better. And like I said, if you can help me out, then I'd be really appreciative of that help. We all, like I said, we all need to help each other. #UnitedByNails. Let's help each other out, not bring each other down. So here I'm just removing all of those. I give it a little tap. If you can hear that clicky sound, then you know that it's ready. Be sure to always pull that form down away from the natural free edge underneath, otherwise you're going to hurt your client. You don't want to do that. So you can see just before I haven't even really done anything to them, and they're a pretty good shape all by themselves. So you could obviously leave them like this if you want to and go straight in with design. But I'm a perfectionist, so I actually go in with I like to go in with a brand new file. I use the Glitter Girls 150 grit files to do so. And be very, very, very gentle when you're doing this, because this layer is so thin, very, very thin. So be very careful. But as you're practicing and stuff, your sidewalls and things are going to kind of overhang or be a little bit lower. So this is a great time to actually go in and fix this. I keep my file nice and straight when I'm doing this. So I just go over the whole nail, just making sure I've got a nice smooth surface to work on. Keep your file. Yeah, I kind of go in on an angle to straighten those sidewalls up. And then as I'm tapering in that shape, I keep my file very, very straight up and down. It will help you not file into your that C curve you've worked so hard to get, which I've learned along the way. I always used to file into my C curve, and I could never understand why. So this is something I've learned just from watching videos. So again, practice, guys, practice. It's all about practice. Now on this finger, I know straight away as I'm filing it, I can feel straight away that it is not strong enough. On the right hand side, there's not enough product, and I knew that if I kept filing it, it was going to snap on me, and you really don't want to have to redo the whole thing. So in a minute, you'll see me pull out my product and rectify this. So I just dust off the excess dust, pull out my product, and then add it where I need it, which in this case is on that right hand side. So again, you just practice as you go, guys, because again, this is something you know, obviously when I did my original placement, I haven't added enough product at that stress point, which is totally fine, you know, like, and you'll know, which is why, you know, doing this shaping and perfecting will help you make sure that you've got enough strength in those areas. So you can see me just adding product where I need it. I let it set and then move on to shaping and perfecting the rest of the nails until this one has set. And then I just go back and do the same thing. And you'll know straight away. That's why you'll see me like kind of grab it and see how sturdy it is, because it is very thin. So they are always going to be very thin. So just be careful. This is, I mean, you don't really have to do this step. Like I said, you can just go straight in with design if you want to, but I like to, as I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I like to make sure that it's perfect and I have a nice even layer to go in with design. So here I'm just fixing up that one that didn't have enough product, and now I know I can feel like I'm wiggling the end of it to kind of make sure it's strong enough, and then I'm just fixing it up and we're good to go. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it right the first time. Just practice as you go. You'll learn, but with every single set that you do, you will learn. So nails are now prepped and ready for the design. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be the design part. Please leave a like, a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching and for all of your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks guys. Bye.